Hi everyone, I'm Lisa and welcome to Lisa's Stamp Studio. Today's card revolves around a stamp set you would think is for Easter, but I've changed it up and we've got a cute spring card. I'm using the Basket Bunch bundle. That's a mouthful, isn't it? But here's the cute card that we're going to be creating. I'm going to be using the stitch framelits to make a frame. I'll teach you how, and also how to add some other small pieces with the punches you own to make some really cute spring cards. Don't forget to head over to my blog if you're viewing from YouTube, where I have a complete list of cutting dimensions as well as supplies. And while you're there, check on the online classes tab. I'm holding studio stamps in the mail right now, and you can stamp with me from home. All the details and a short video to show you the projects are all there. Let's get over to the stamp table and let's get started. Here's a good look at that card. Isn't that little bird adorable? And I'm going to show you how I created the frame and of course this little flag here for the greeting. I've also got an alternative to this card that I'm going to show you at the end of the video, so make sure you hang with me. I'm starting with a base of Whisper White cardstock. You're going to find all the cutting dimensions for today's project over on my blog. If you're viewing from YouTube, the link is right down below for you. Bone folder to create that nice crisp crease. I cut a piece of designer series paper to lay here on the top of my card. This is coming from the Festive Birthday designer series paper stack. I'm going to go ahead and add some adhesive to the back. A little bit in my four corners will do me. That'll go here on the base of the card. Now I'm going to work on the frame that I showed you. This is a piece of Whisper White cardstock. I'm using the Stitched Shapes framelits. Oh my gosh, I'm telling you what, these are a fabulous product. You're going to definitely want these. So you get circles and ovals, and they come in stack sizes, and of course squares. Now I've taken two off to use today for the frame. I number mine so that if I recreate a project, I can indicate which framelit that I used by number so that I can recreate it really easily. That's just a great tip for you at home. I'm also going to do some stamping. So since I'm going to use the Big Shot, we'll go ahead and do everything at one time. Got another small piece of white cardstock here, and I am going to use the Basket Bunch bundle. It's a mouthful. Cute stamps, and there's coordinating framelits for every single one of the images, so there's absolutely no fussy cutting. You're going to like that. I do want to point out that there's two different chicks and two different sets of feet, and they go in each direction. So if you're going to do this card exactly like mine and you want them facing to the left, make sure you pick up the correct one, because these are a mirrored image inside the case. Lots of fun and some really great sentiments that you can use all year round. So I've pulled out the chick from the stamp set, and I've got my Memento ink pad here, and I'm going to ink him up, and I'm going to stamp him on my scratch paper. I'm going to use two markers. I'm using the Crush Curry, which coordinates with my designer series paper. The marker has a brush tip and a pen tip. The brush is great for coloring. It's nice and it's chiseled, which makes it really easy for you to get inside all of those lines. So I'm going to go ahead and color my little chick in. And I'm going to go back over his wing just a little bit more to get it a little bit darker. And then I'm going to use the pumpkin pie marker to do that little area in his beak. Now you might not think that that marker is going to fit in there, but because of that real nice chisel tip, you can. The other side is more like a pen for writing, journaling, signing. It'll also color in those small areas for you. And again, no fussy cutting because we've got a framelit for this little guy. I've got my Big Shot here with the magnetic platform. Love that when I'm using framelits to help hold them in place. I've got that larger piece of white cardstock, and we're going to use those square stitched framelits. I'm going to put those right on top of here. So there's a larger one, and the smaller one's going to go right inside, and that's going to create our frame. So I'm just going to do my very best just to line those up so they look fairly symmetrical. And then here is my little chick. I'm going to put him way down here at the bottom, and I'm going to use the framelit for him as well. If you find that your framelits are slipping, or you're afraid when you put the other clear mat over the top that they're going to slip, go ahead and use a Post-it note flag. I keep these in my stamp studio and they're darn handy, I'll tell you what. So I'm just going to tape that right on here. I'm going to put my other clear mat over the top. That's going to protect those framelits. And then we're just going to crank this through the Big Shot. So here we've got our frame. So we're going to take off these pieces. And I'm just going to run my finger across here. Remember, these are stitched. So there's going to be like little dashes all around the outside. So I'm going to just carefully pull that out. All right, so now we've got our really cute stitch frame. And then our little chick. Gotta love that we didn't have to cut that. It'll never look quite that perfect by hand. I'm going to be using the Tree Builder Punch for the branch, and that's going to punch it out real nicely. And I'm just going to slip that inside of there. Like I said in the beginning, I have an alternative project for you using the framelets. When we're done, I'll give you a little peek of that. So now we've got our branch and we've got our frame. Let's go ahead and do the stamping on the frame first. So I used my Memento ink again, and I pulled out the greeting from the stamp set. It says, "You made my day." And I'm going to ink that up, and I'm going to stamp that at the top of the frame. I'll set that aside, and I'm going to bring a piece of crushed curry cardstock over, and then I'm going to use the words that are separate in that stamp set. It says "again." So we're going to do a cute little phrase when we're all finished here. I'm going to stamp that here on the crushed curry scrap, and I'm going to use the classic label punch to make that little banner. So I'm going to start by putting this inside the punch. I'm going to make sure that I've got this near the end, so I have my point on this end, and I'm going to punch. And then I'm going to put this tip back in again. This is the raw end. You see here? So I'm going to put that end right back in, and if you line this up carefully, you can get a really cute little banner tip, just like that. And we're going to use that on the frame as well. Remember the center to that framelit. We're going to use that to do some mounting. So here on the base of the card, I am going to start by placing this square where I want it. So I'm going to add some adhesive to the back. And I'm going to center that here on the base of my card. Here's my frame, and then here's my branch. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put my branch inside this frame, but you can see how tiny this is. It's going to be hard to get adhesive on there, so let me give you a tip. I'm a big fan of my silicone craft sheet because when I do put adhesive on here, it's not going to end up all over my work surface because adhesive will not stick to this. Putting some small dashes of adhesive on here. Any little webbed adhesive I have left over, I can kind of just curl to the back. It's not going to be noticeable. I'm going to add that here to the front of my card. So I'm going to add that kind of low here, frame all the way to the side so my branch will fit. And now I've got my chick. I'm going to line it up just on here before adhering it because I want to stamp the little feet. So I'm going to take out my Memento ink, and I've pulled out the little feet. I'm going to ink him up, and I'm just going to determine where I'm going to actually position him. So I'm going to come down here, and I'm going to stamp his feet, and I'm going to flip my chick over, and I'm going to grab a dimensional. I'm going to put one of those on the back side of my little chick and take off that paper backing, and then he's going to have a little 3D effect. Now I'm going to tip mine so his head is going up because I wanted him to be singing. So here's my frame. I'm going to flip that over, and I'm going to add dimensionals to here as well. Now you're going to find that these are probably going to be a little bit of a tight fit. So I took my paper snips and I cut my dimensionals in half while they were on the paper. I found not only was this easier to put them on the back side because they fit a lot easier, I've got a lot of straight edges here that I can actually use to line up on the edge of the frame. So I went around, I wanted to make sure my frame was balanced. So there we go, and I'm going to take off the paper backing to those pieces. If you have trouble getting off the paper backing like I often do, because my fingernails are short, go ahead and just press your nail inside the paper. That's going to help lift the edges for you to take that backing off. So here's our card, and then I am going to lay this over this and provide us with a really, really cute frame. Here is the greeting that we talked about. Those half dimensionals are going to come in really handy again. So I'm going to take one of those. I'm going to put that on the back side of that little banner. And that's going to go right here at the bottom of my frame. Cute. But to make him look like he was singing, I wanted to add some musical notes, and I don't have a stamp small enough that's going to fit in there. So I grabbed my Project Life journaling pen. I absolutely love this pen. I've used it for lots of things. Take the cap off. They come in two sizes. This is the 01 and there's a 05. The smaller the number, the smaller the tip. So this is very, very fine. I'm going to start the ink flow here so that I have some control. And I'm going to add just a couple musical notes. I'm not going to get real fancy because I'm not a big drawer by any means. I'm just going to add just a little bit of fun to the card here. And then add another note down here at the bottom, just to indicate some song. So there we go. We've got our card. Isn't that cute? This is the one we've made together today. And here's the other one that I showed you at the very beginning. Do you notice the difference? I used a piece of just plain white cardstock around this one. And this time I used the negative of the framelit here. But I promised you one other card. And here it is. Do you recognize this? Let me show you. It's the handle to the basket. All I did was I turned it upside down to create a swing for my bird to be on. Cute, huh? Really a cute, cute stamp set and very versatile because there's lots of different greetings. I am so glad that you joined me today, everyone. I look forward to seeing you next time. Have a great day.